what's going on? It's Patrick Walford here, host and producer of Rock the Walls on Idobi. You can check this interview out on our website, idobi.com, and you can check out our radio station, Idobi Radio, streaming 24/7, 365 online. You can download our iPhone app for free. Right now, we're talking here with Jeff and Seb from Simple Plan. Seb is obviously also a host on Idobi for Man of the Hour, but I mean, you guys are going to be releasing Get Your Heart On in a couple days' time now. It's going to be released on Warner Music here in Canada and Atlantic in the States. It's been a while for you guys. I mean, you guys have had this record done for about 6-7 months now. How's it feel to finally get it out?
It's good. Honestly, it went by really fast. Like, we finished the record late last year, and then we finalized a few tweaks this spring. But I mean, when we figured out it was going to come out in June, we're like, oh my god, that's so far away. But it creeped up on us really fast, and like, with everything we've been doing online to promote it and all that, it just went by like this.
There was just a lot of things to put together, like collaborations, remixes, and we had a lot of stuff to do. So yeah, it went by really fast.
So, I mean, on Get Your Heart On, something that you guys did differently, and I think something that a lot of bands do differently, is you guys actually broke it down track by track. You waited until you finished the entirety of a track, as opposed to, just tracking guitars for the entire album, doing it that way. What was really a decision to do it this way for you guys? Did you find it was just there's something on this album cycle and in this recording process you guys just thought would be a bit easier and a bit more focused for each song to really hone in on each one?
It's probably just better for the song, really, to just make it as best as possible before moving on to the next one.
Well, the decision was actually practical. We wanted to do like half the record in Montreal, half the record in Vancouver, and then a producer kind of screwed us over.
Yeah.
Brian House decided, you know what, we're going to do a lot more in Vancouver. So we had recorded drums and all the rhythms, the basic stuff. And Brian decided, he's like, guys, what would you think of that? And here's a schedule, and he kind of laid it out to us. But we were like, we were kind of like experimenting with the idea, and it just turned out really good because, as Seb said, it allows you to really focus on a song, and as a guitar player, as you're tracking your parts, you focus on one song, your singer goes on, he does one thing. It gives you a chance to kind of refresh and kind of like put that song away and be able to think about other things. It's really creative that way, and everybody's involved in the little tweaks on vocals and guitars. It's really fun, actually. Much more creative than doing like, it kind of like the whole record thing is kind of like a factory, like a manufacturer, where you like, pull it out really fast and you're not really paying attention to details. In that case, it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can definitely tell on this record as well. It's just so versatile and so diverse, and the fact that even if you look at the 4 songs that there's guest spots on, that's a perfect example of just how much different each and every single song is on the album. Something from Jet Lag, which is more of an anthemic pop song, stuff like Summer Paradise, which, I mean, the title pretty much implies exactly what it is. For you guys to really on this record and get those guest spots on, I mean, especially like Natasha Bedingfield, who's an absolutely huge female artist. For you guys, what did it really come down to in choosing those exact guest spots on the album?
Well, in case of Natasha, it was really like, it's all about her voice. The song was written as a conversation between a guy and a girl that miss each other very much, and when we brought her the song, she really loved it, and her vocal, like, she really took it to the next level and made the song even better because of that. And honestly, she was perfect for the job, and she's like one of the boys. She's a really cool girl, and we went out to party did a lot of Irish car bombs that night. It was kind of messed up, but we had a good time though.
Well, frankly, it's complicated to get those collaborations going. Like, there's a lot of factors,
scheduling and all that.
There's scheduling. There's, first of all, does the person want to collaborate with you? Do you want to be associated with that person? And then you put a list together of for instance, for Jet Lag, we had a list of about 10 singers that we really wanted to collaborate with. So it was a question of finding someone that had like the same kind of relationship with their fans, that had that voice that would actually fit with Pierre's voice, and again, scheduling, and so it was really a lot of work. And the fact that coming back to the idea of doing one song at a time, it really made the record like really long to do, but it also gave us time to actually seek out those collaborations. So in the case of Natasha, it was a long process. The case of Rivers Cuomo from Weezer, same thing. It was long because he meditates so much. He's really hard to find.
That's the thing. Yeah,
That's the thing about that.
But in his case, I guess, like, having written the song with him, like, it was really cool to have him involved and sing on it as well. But I mean, it's just cool when you pick up like a Jay-Z record or a Kanye record and you see all the featurings. Now we have that, so it's pretty rad. Yeah.
I think you're starting to see a lot more bands kind of just go into that area where it's, to bring on artists to do guest spots on that. I mean, especially something that I thought was really cool is, you guys being a band for 12, 13 years now, for you guys to bring on Alex Gaskarth, which is, All Time Low is really like the face of pop rock, pop punk right now for a lot of kids in the scene and stuff like that. So I thought that was really interesting. But I mean, just talking about, having Brian Howes on this record to produce his record, Pierre said in previous interviews that he's really the first producer you guys have worked with that's really just paid attention to every little detail you guys was
that's kind of how we are, so it kind of worked out great for us.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that because it kind of like diminishes the work of other producers. Like for instance, like Bob Rock had like everybody. You bring a personality to a project, so everybody's kind of different. Just to come back to Alex, it was kind of cool. That collaboration was really fun because Pierre and Chuck had worked on Time Bomb, which ended up on Old Time Low's last record. So it was just kind of like, and we befriended them on the Last Band Blues
on the road
tour.
Show, yeah.
So it was just like it was a very organic connection, and a lot of those things kind of happen that way. As far as Brian Howes, well, he did some great stuff with like a bunch of great artists, and we like this sound. And then you meet a lot of producers, and you have to connect on a human level. That's where it kind of starts, And the guy was like, "I'm stoked about the songs. I really love, the band. I just want to push you guys further and kind of find your sound now." And I mean, he's really dedicated to finding that perfect balance between the guitars, the vocals. It's hard in a band like ours where it's like it's very guitar driven. It can become very heavy, but at the same time you got to leave space for the vocals and the melodies. So that balance is hard to find, and Brian was very savvy at finding that.
As far as just the collaboration process, I mean, a lot of people have the common misconception that when a band says that they're collaborating with somebody, that means that they're writing all the songs for them. Whereas, I mean, you guys brought in about 6 different people, Rivers, obviously, Matt Squire, Jim Irwin. Some of these people have worked with, gigantic pop stars, worldwide known type deal. For you guys to really work with them, what was kind of I don't know if you can take it kind of like a step-by-step process or a day-to-day basis, exactly how stuff worked with these people?
Well, it's kind of like keeping it fresh, like 4 records in, you just want to keep evolving as a band. You want fresh ideas, try to mix in with people that obviously they do it a lot as well. They write a lot, so working with different songwriters was a great way for us to explore new things while obviously having us be involved all the time is make sure everything sounds like Simple Plan clearly. And I don't think we'll ever step away from that. Even like a song like Summer Paradise, which is pretty different for us, still absolutely sounds like Simple Plan. So I mean, it's fun to bring in some new ideas, but then at the end of the day, like it's still a Simple Plan record, which is really cool.
We got like 10 years of history now. The first 3 records, it was like really like a home kind of thing, like homemade kind of thing, and we're very involved in every aspect of our career, like as far as all the visuals, the website, everything we do ourselves. Even every single Twitter feed is from us. It's not like unlike some other bands, that have like help on that side. We do it all ourselves. On this record, we just wanted to push things further, and instead of having like 15 songs and picking 12 to record, we decided let's write a lot. Let's have a lot of material to pick from, and as a band, we've always wanted to push ourselves further, challenge ourselves. What best way to just bring other people to just kind of like kind of questions, like reflexes that you have,
and take you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely. That's exactly it, and that's exactly what we wanted. Kind of actualize what we were doing, but at the same time, like sometimes you get tired as an artist of who you are, and other people are there to tell you, well, it's a good thing about what you do, as Simple Plan. And that's probably what brought us to throwing back at the spirit of the first 2 records. Other people telling us, you guys did that really well. It's kind of cool that you bring it back. I don't think that we would have been as comfortable to bring back those elements, on our own.
Just really going from the self-titled record to Get Your Heart On, just like you talked before the break, really catching the spirit of the first 2 records. I mean, for you guys and really, kind of getting to take a step back and see, the kind of pop rock, pop punk music. When you guys came up, there was bands like Good Charlotte, Newfound Glory, who are still around, but I mean, they don't have as much of presence as now, where it's kind of shifted towards bands like All Time Low, Forever the Sickest Kids, Mayday Parade, stuff like that. For you guys going into this release, kind of seeing that, what it really means to you guys moving forward.
Well, I guess, it's kind of fun to have 10 years behind us and 4 records and no lineup change. I mean, that's kind of cool nowadays. It's kind of unique, but I mean, like we're coming at this record with just doing, writing the best songs we can write, and like you said, like sort of a throwback to everything that we're good at. Like this record is really fun. It's got high energy. So yeah, it's just I don't know. We're just having a good time, man.
I don't know. It's cool that there's always been brand new bands around us. Bands that came and went, bands that stayed there. For us, it's always been about the same thing. It's about bringing a great collection of songs and putting out a great live show. We don't really try to follow trends, or like I'm stoked when like bands in our genre are getting exposed and are getting like a lot of attention. It's good for everybody, But as far as do we get inspired by them? Do we follow what they do? I wouldn't say so, but it's definitely cool to see like Old Time Low, for instance. Like they're a band that openly says that they're Simple Plan fans. They've listened to our records and now they're successful.
Rad.
Super cool. It's great. They're great guys. We get along with them. So it's kind of humbling. It's kind of at the same time it's flattering. So it's all good. We're part of a scene and we're there to help each other.
Definitely. And just as far as that, I mean, you guys, prior to recording this record, you guys were on the Bamboozle Roadshow for a bit there, and I mean, just getting to go out and see, kind of what's there now. Some of the bands that were playing were probably some bands that you guys had never heard of, who were, just coming up type deal. For you guys, just kind of being on that tour and seeing that, did it almost open your guys' eyes up in the recording process, like going in to record the record? Kind of, this is what kids are into these days, whether it was a surprise to you guys or not as much of a surprise as it might have first been.
Encyclopedia, so I have Sebastian throwing me music all the time. I'm like pretty savvy.
The fun thing about going on those tours, well, about that particular tour, is that it made us confident in our decision to just bring back like the fast songs and just having a good time, because they translate so well live and the kids get into it, and that's what it's all about. Like we're a touring band, we're always on tour, and if we had a whole record filled with slow songs, it'd be kind of boring to come to our show. So like there's a lot of high energy stuff, a lot of catchy melodies. You come to the show, you have a good time, and I mean like that's what touring is for, and that's what playing in a band is for, really.
It was more about the energy. It was great to see all the kids waiting for us and seeing that like they hadn't forgotten us, and that was really what kind of inspired us the most. That was a great vibe. I remember like when we made the second record, we were right off the Warped Tour or something like that, and that energy was brought back to the studio. Mm-hmm. Or I think we cut the recording session in half to go do the Warped Tour.
Yeah, I think so. I think
that's something like that. So that's always good, for a record. I think it just brings a really cool energy, a good vibe. And seeing the other bands go for it, and it's more inspiring in terms of what you do live. When you see all these bands, doing jump kicks ups, on stage and doing crazy shit like
backflips. I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to backflip. It's not working out. But you're just trying to push yourself a little more, so that's cool. It keeps you on your toes.
No, definitely, for sure. And just talking about your lead single right now, Jet Lag, you guys also have a French version of the song, which, I mean, obviously, a lot of the American kids, they aren't exactly going to probably hear that, but I mean, for you guys, and really doing that with that single, what was the decision behind that? And obviously, on that track, instead of Natasha Bedingfield, as awesome and as beautiful as she is, I'm assuming she can't sing in French, so...
She speaks very well in French.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, but I mean, the decision to go with Marie May, and just with that, I mean, you guys filmed 2 separate music videos for that too. I mean, for you guys, is that something in the future that you can see yourself doing more and more with singles, or is this more of a one-time thing you guys want to try?
I don't know. It's just like, we've never had a French song before. We're a French-speaking band, and we just thought we'd give it a try. And because that song was a duet, like it was just easier and like a lot more fun to do with, if Marie May came on and sang her parts in French, and then Pierre would sing in French for the first time as well, and it came out great. And it's a lot of fun. Like people in Quebec seem to love it. People in France love it. Even a lot of kids around the world are like, "Oh, it's so exotic. That's my favorite version." It's like, right on, and they don't even understand what we're saying.
And just as far as some plans coming up, you guys are going to be on the entirety of the band's Warped Tour, but there's 2 omissions on the tour, 2 dates, Toronto and Montreal. You guys aren't going to be playing, which I can only assume means a cross-Canada tour. At this point in time, can you guys announce any plans, or is it going to be announced over the next bit?
Yeah, the plan is to tour a shitload on this record, so there's going to be a lot of shows. Not everything's planned out right now, but there are shows coming everywhere.
We're talking about December, but it's not set in stone yet. But we're talking about December. If it's not December, it's going to be early next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to do a cross-Canadian tour as we usually do. We're going to be in the U.S. quite a bit. Obviously, the Warped Tour, as you mentioned. We're not doing Montreal and Toronto because, I mean...
We're coming back to Montreal and Toronto, so there you go. Yeah.
Sure. Well, thanks a lot for joining me on the show today, guys. And something I like to do with the bands I interview is I get them to choose a song from their catalog, and then I get them to choose a song by any band, any artist, any genre. So if you guys want to pick a Simple Plan song for the listeners to hear, and a song by any other band, go for it.
You know what? I want to throw back to I'd Do Anything.
Yeah, let's do that.
I want to see Mark Hoppus go for it.
And Simple Plan back tattoo. I know in the music video was something that stuck out for me when I was 11, 12 years old. I mean, airbrush, I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah, that girl.
Most likely.
Yeah, she went for it with the tattoo. That was kind of cool. We have to pick another song now about someone else?
Maybe if you guys each want to pick a song out there. It doesn't matter genre, absolutely anything you guys want to hear.
All right, you go first. I have to think.
You know what? I want to see the Foo Fighters video, that white limo video. That's a cool video.
That's cool. That is cool. What's a cool song? Anything new just come out? Oh, you know what? I want to see I want to hear that new Cobra Starship song. I think that's a cool party song. The "You Make Me Feel Good" song. No. Yeah, let's go for that. Why not? Let's go out clubbing.
All right, awesome. Thanks a lot for joining me for the interview today, guys. Make sure you go and pick up Simple Plan's record, Get Your Heart On. It's out this Tuesday on Warner Music here in Canada and Atlantic Records in the United States. Just a throwback to their very first record. This is Simple Plan with I Do Anything here on Rock the Walls.
Yes.